Hi and welcome back to Vivo Pilates. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about neutral pelvis, which will lead us to find a neutral spine. Neutral pelvis is basically a position we're going to maintain the pelvis in order to keep the normal curves of our spine. We're going to then do a few exercises in different positions so that you can see what I mean. So let's do it. So, before we lie on the mat, I want to show you two bone references we're going to use in order for you to understand how to move better. So, these references are the hip bones, one on each side of your pelvis, and the pubic bone in the center of your pelvis. So, if you put the heels of your hands on each hip bone and then bring the fingertips of your index and your middle finger together, they'll lie on the pubic bone, just to show you quickly. And then this will form a triangle. So what we want is to keep these bones aligned in order to keep the pelvis in neutral position. So let's practice lying on the mat now so you can see what I mean. So now that you lie on your back, I'm going to ask you to keep your knees and your feet hip width apart, which is about the fist distance. So if you have your fist between your knees, it will give you the right position. And then let's put your hands in the position I just showed you of the triangle. So heel of your hands on your hip bones and then fingertips on your pubic bone. And then in this position, you have these three bones parallel to the floor. So that means your back is in neutral position, so as your pelvis. And then we're going to start rocking the pelvis back, which brings the pubic bone higher than the hip bones, making your lower back touching the floor, which we call imprinting the spine. And then you rock your pelvis back into this neutral position. And then if you keep rocking the pubic bone away from your navel, then your back will arch a little bit more, which is fine as long as you don't feel any discomfort. But now we're going to be practicing going into this imprinted position where your pubic bone goes higher and then goes back into this neutral position where your pubic bone and your hip bones are leveled and parallel to the floor. Okay? And then let's combine this with the breath. So just keep looking up to the ceiling so that your neck stays nice and long. Take a deep breath in. And then as you're breathing out, you're going to be pulling your pubic bone to navel. So you're going to use your abdominals to promote this motion. And then as you breathe in, you just rock your pelvis back into neutral position. And again, breathing out, you rock your pelvis back. Breathing in, back to neutral. And it just flows with your breath. And again, breathing out, you rock back. Breathing in, back to neutral. Now bring your arms by your side. And we're going to take this pelvic tilt into a pelvic curl or bridge. Breathe in again. And as you breathe out, start pulling pubic bone to navel. Feel lower back press into the floor. Now push down with your feet to peel the spine off nice and gently. So we want to find this nice and straight line from the shoulders all the way through pelvis and knees. Feel the back of your legs engaged. Keep your arms pressing down to keep your shoulders nice and open. Bringing breath into the top. And then as you breathe out, you soften the chest. So it's like you're melting your ribs down. Keep it pulling the pubic bone to navel with your abdominal so that your back stays nice and long. And then you find your neutral position again. Big breath in and out. Pubic bone to navel. Drawing the abdominals in, pushing down through your feet. And find the position where your pelvis is aligned with your knees and your shoulders. Careful not to push too high with the ribs or letting go of your abs, which will create too much tension in your lower back. So keep your abdominals pulling in, pulling the pubic bone to the navel all the time. Breathe in and out, soften through the chest. Keep scooping the abdominals until you touch the pelvis down. And rock it back to neutral. One more. Breath in and out. Pubic bone to navel. Draw the abdominals in. Push down through your feet. Keep the alignment of your knees. Keep arms pressing down. Neck nice and relaxed. Breathe in the top. Expand your ribs. And as you breathe out, soften through the chest, scooping your abdominals and bring your pelvis back into neutral position. So now that your pelvis is back into neutral, we're going to move the upper back in order to maintain this neutral position, okay? So interlace your fingers like this, nice and strong, or have your palm on palm and bring your hands behind your head. So keep your elbows nice and wide, but within your peripheral vision, and make sure you keep the weight of your head on your hands so that your neck doesn't get tight, okay? So take a deep breath in to prepare. And then as you're breathing out, to start nodding the chin to chest in order to lengthen your neck, come up and keep looking towards your thighs, which also helps you to keep your eyes on your pelvis, making sure it doesn't rock back as you come up. Instead, it remains in neutral position and trying to peel off to the bottom of the rib cage and then, to the bottom of your shoulder blade, sorry. And then gently, you go back down. Big breath in and out, chin to chest. Keep your gaze towards your thighs and so go up, up, up. And then feel like your ribs moving towards your pelvis, which makes your abdominals also work. And then gently breathing in as you go back down. And again, as you breathe out, chin to chest, soften through the chest and lift your chest up. So bring bottom of your shoulder blades off the floor. Keep abdominals nice and strong. And gently, you bring your chest and your head back down. So now moving to your side, we're going to experience finding this neutral pelvis and neutral spine in this position, okay? So you can have your bottom arm straight with your palm up or bent elbow, or you can even use a cushion instead. Then have your top hand gently rest on the mat in front of you, making sure you're not putting weight on this hand, which probably means you'll be rolling forwards. And also, bring awareness to your bottom and your top waist. Normally, when we just lie on our side, we tend to shorten the top waist and the bottom waist is heavy on the floor, which means your hip bones are not aligned. But then think of elongating this top waist. Create space between the pelvis and the bottom of the rib cage. And naturally, you're going to align your hip bones and you might feel there is a gap under the bottom of your waist to the floor and even to the bottom ribs. Or you might feel your waist is still touching the floor, which is also fine, but probably you won't have the same load as you had before. So keep your waist long, keep your abdominals gently draw in order to keep your back stable and gently rest your hands on the floor. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you hover this top leg. So bring this leg up to hip height. And while you maintain your knee bent, you're going to start moving this leg back as if you're trying to push the wall behind you. So it's quite nice because it also opens the hip. And then gently you bring the leg back in. And as you do so, you want to keep your pelvis stable and your back stable as well. So you can either breathe in as you bring your leg back and out as you move the leg backwards, drawing the pubic bone to navel, or you can breathe the other way around, which I quite like. Breathing in as you move the leg back, feel like opening this hip. Breathing out as if you're pulling the leg back with your abdominals. No matter which way you choose to breathe, the main idea is to keep the stability of your pelvis and consequently of your back. So of course, do practice the other side. You might notice there is a bit of a difference between both sides, but also you work the muscles evenly, okay? So now last but not least, we're gonna try the same concept of a neutral spine in a 4-point kneeling. So when you try supine, you have the feedback of the mat, which now we're done. So you're gonna bring your hands in line with your shoulders, same width of your shoulders, and knees in line with your hips, same width of your hips. And then spread your palms, spread your fingertips, push your chest away from the floor. So make sure the fold of your elbows are facing each other so that you don't hyperextend the elbows, okay? Keep this feeling of pushing your chest away from the floor so that you don't sink, and keep your head higher than your back and your gaze towards the end of the mat. So you help with the alignment of your neck, head, and shoulders. And then in this position, just take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, think of the pelvic tilt you did in the beginning. So you pull the pubic bone to your navel with your abdominals. You gently look down to your hands and push your hands, push your shin bones into the floor. So trying to find a nice curve in your spine. And now as you breathe in, you gently rock back into this neutral position where you look towards the mat, keep pushing the chest up, keep drawing the abdominals gently in so that your back doesn't overarch, so it doesn't look like that, which is very easy for your lower back to do. So think you want to try to keep those three bones, the hip bones and the pubic bone aligned, okay? And again, breath in here and out. To draw the abdominals, you send your tailbone towards your knees, so you round your back. And then as you're breathing in, your head reaches forwards and your tailbone reaches back. So if we had a dowel, we want this dowel to be touching the back of your head, between your shoulder blades and your pelvis, which means the back is in a neutral position. And another one, breathing out, round your back, drawing the belly in, and breathing in, find this neutral position. Feel like you want to open your chest forward, but without letting go of your abdominals, keeping the back long and nice and as neutral as possible. And as you finish, you can just sit back onto your heels and rest your head down. If your knees don't like it, you can try and go with wider knees and trying to find a comfortable position. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining me. Please practice, give it a go, feel in your body. And if you have any questions or doubts, please just leave on the comments, okay? See you in the next video.